Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So we've got a couple of things going on today. Let's get all of our little frames up and running. Work. There we go. So music should be working, in theory. Everything should be working pretty well today. So we're going to continue working with the character design that I was working on yesterday. I've got a couple of corrections I want to make to it. So we're going to do that right off the bat. And then we're going to move on to some client work today. So let's get started right off the bat. All right. Working on a character here, which actually is working on her actual I lost my crosshairs. What's going on here? I must have switched something here. Control something is upset. Something is saying I can't click. Why is it always something weird? It's always something strange. Bring you to the forefront. There's a message up somewhere. I don't know what the message was. Leave site. No. Cancel. Stop being weird. Oh, we're doing that thing again. Hang on, guys. We have to remind the computer that this is the monitor that draws. Where's the clipboard pen? It's got to be monitor 1. As always, we have something weird every day. Monitor 2. Now we should have control. There we are. Back in control. Alright. So we want to do some work here first of all. She has to have one. Looking at her original character design, she had this. was more this kind of thing. So this is where we are, really. So what we're doing here is just correcting little bits of this character. I wanted her here, after I kind of looked at her original character sheet, she had longer hair originally, so we went ahead and just fixed this so she's got hair that looks good. She still wore a headband, but the original character sheet, she had her hair pulled over her face. And I do need to keep in mind that we have to be able to see her damage to hair. It's part of the character. She's not damage to hair, so just to So we're just cleaning up right here. Just going to organize so that it all works together. Excellent. So, okay. Another thing I'm noticing is right here, there's nothing indicating this trigger. Put this in as a trigger. And she's doing proper trigger discipline, so she's actually not, in fact, holding her finger on the trigger of the weapon. So she's a pistoleer, so it makes some sense. Okay. Moving along now. Just cleaning up some pieces in here. This piece to execute this. Cross. To the nuts. Digits on the hip should be fine. Everything's good. Now I'm just making sure every bit is kind of cleaned up here and fixed. Now we're using hair lines themselves. Just the line width. We're going to see it up. Just tap some of these things just to give some variety. Variety will help us kind of identify the different parts of our body, which are going to be difficult to see because they don't have a good feel of what's going on. Right. Kind of going through here, one of the things I'm really working on is describing areas with just lines, right? Just giving some weight to some of these lines. Like this one here, it really needs to be scaled up with the tip, up in here. Right, so this sort of a flourish. I am pondering whether or not that fits. I feel like she has almost surprise. I feel like she shouldn't be surprised. So I'm going to, it's the mouth that I'm going to be problem with. Take some of this. Now she doesn't look as surprised. She doesn't look shocked at all. She looks like you're just about to die. That's it. You're just got it. But I might going to. I'm just blowing these extraneous lines out because they're not needed. Right? There we go. Fixing things here. Just leveling that out so that all looks good. Eyes look fine. Looks okay. She looks like she's probably annoyed, irritated with me for doing things stupid. That's okay. Also, this trigger looks like it's kind of tilted wrong. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Simplify the whole thing. It's going to be a smooshy sort of trigger that's on. You didn't. That's very fascinating. Okay, hang on just a second, guys. Oh, music's too loud? Okay. Hang on. Hello? I'm doing all right. I'm sorry, who were you? I didn't. No, I just. I was just saying I'm having intermittent cell problems, so that's why I didn't hear your name. Oh yeah. It's going great. I'm actually in the middle of a broadcast, so I was kind of wondering if I could talk to you a little later.
Yeah, that'd be good. Let me have you go back to your broadcast.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, bye-bye. Usually when people call twice, I think it's an emergency, so I answer. And so, let's see. Is the music better now? Because I turned it down. We're at this point, you see, in our... Good morning, Donald, by the way. I've been having some technical difficulties this morning, so it's been kind of complicated, and there's a lot going on all of a sudden. My kid is on a Zoom call with all of his other students in the other room, and they are loud and boisterous and distracting, and I'm having a hard time concentrating. And then, of course, I got these two calls at the same time, And so I was wondering, now, is the music still too loud? Let's try it down over here. Maybe there. Okay, can you hear me now? That's the question of the hour. Can you hear me now? If I do that, move this a little closer to me. You can hear me now, right? That's the question of the hour. Because music is just supposed to be there so that whenever I don't say something, you... Okay. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm just fixing up this line. I had realized that her gun doesn't have a trigger. Oh, good. Good. Okay, so her gun didn't have a trigger, so I wanted to make sure that she had... So it was clear that, she was putting her finger on the side of the guard instead of just losing the hand completely over there. So we're working on a character. There we go. This is a character design, so I feel like I kind of want to give her more right here. Like that. Right, just give her a little bit of oomph right through here. All right, just something to shake this line up right here. There we go. There we go. More like that. Hello, Ali from Twitch. It's good to see you on the show. So, we're doing a character design for a character sheet, and that's what we got going on here. And we'll switch back to not me, because it doesn't help you to see that. There we go. We're working on a character design. This is a character sheet. What am I thinking? Portrait. This is a character portrait. I don't know what my problem is this morning. I'm having issues talking this morning, so it's all good though. So we're in Clip Studio Paint, and this is a character who is a gunslinger, a pistolero for Starfinder. So I'm just kind of going through and just putting some of this in. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we're just cleaning up some of the lines here using some of the tools that come with Clip Studio Paint. So I feel like this line should head back in. It doesn't come out in the right spot. So I'm going to go ahead and correct that. I feel like it should be moving more like, it's hard to catch. Not glamorous doing it this way. Two intersecting lines there, so that's part of the problem. I actually don't want that to be trimmed. So I'm going to do this and move this through. And then we're going to check. We want it to line up with her hip more. It's making her hip look too straight. I'm going to actually simplify the line. So we'll simplify that line. There we go. We'll simplify this line too. And that'll give us a little bit more room down here to do stuff. There we go. It gives that more of a curve that heads toward her actual hip here. So we're going to do that. this. There we go. Like that. There we go. Before, this went too straight, and it's underneath. Oh, see you later, Allie. You too. Have a good day. So, Donald, to you, yeah, that I do like the scar. She obviously lost an eye when she got that scar because her eyes are two different colors. So this is my Pathfinder character, and originally my Pathfinder character, we had a Pathfinder group in. Well, that would look cool. I agree. I'll do that too. That's pretty cool. We had a Pathfinder group in, I want to say 2013, 2014, something like that. So we were playing this Pathfinder game. The GM that was playing the Pathfinder game got a little burned out, so I took over the game, but I didn't want to play in Pathfinder. I wanted to play in space, so I made a game where they moved through time, and they ended up in Starfinder, which is the space version of Pathfinder. So in the process, since I took over the game, my character was lost because I didn't want to accidentally use her as a Deus Ex Machina for the game. So I didn't want to. It's too tempting when the GM has their own character in a game. It's way too tempting to use that character to further the story. So what I did was I retired my character, so to speak, and never brought her over to Starfinder. Well, it's been 5 years. We started that campaign in 2015, and it's still going. But I'm getting tired now. I've been running the same campaign for 5 years, and I'm getting kind of burned out. So we've decided to rotate GMs and let other people run the same game with a couple of, predetermined. It's set up in an episodic format now, so it's very good to just throw another episode out. So they're just going to run an episode here or there. Well, that means that I can now bring my character back. So this Saturday, we're going to bring her back into the story, but I wanted to advance her. I wanted to make her like she's done stuff over the last 5 years. The game's been going for 5 years without her. So I want to make her be part of the story, but have a different story. It was me and a buddy of mine, and actually, if you're a follower of Geek Tank, you know the buddy, because that's Troy and I. Troy and I were both in the same game in 2014. He had to leave for family reasons because he had two very young children at the time, but they're now 10. And so he wants to rejoin the game too. So we've decided that both of our characters, which both disappeared from the Pathfinder game, have reappeared in the future, but they were stuck together for 5 years, struggling to survive. So we've modified both of our characters, and we're making Starfinder sheets for them and everything like that. Yeah, and that's, for me, I felt like it was just too easy. She was a semi-tank. So since she was a tankish sort of character anyway, I felt like it would be just too simple for me to use her to as a Deus Ex Machina, as the, you all need to solve this problem. Well, Addie can solve the problem. Well, you need to fly to this. Well, Addie will be the pilot. You know what I mean? I felt like it'd just be way too simple. Either that, or she just end up sitting over in the corner of the entire game, all the games. Well, Addie has no opinion. Well, she doesn't think of anything. She can't come up with anything. That kind of stuff. I felt like that wouldn't be as much fun. So I instead just went on ahead and retired her out. I've been GMing for 20 years. So, I knew what my limitations were in this one, and I know that I'm just too easily tempted to make her a Deus Ex Machina. So, We have a kitten over here being a kitten. I swear, this is like the most distracting show. I've got my kid in the other room giggling, and my kitten here destroying a box. Well, you deserve that. I don't know. No, stop chewing on it. Stop. It's like having a kitten around, I swear. Hang on real quick. I've got to secure the... Yeah, I know. We want this really badly. I really don't want you eating power cords. Little booger. Yeah. So, here's my newest member of the family. And I'll actually turn the screen up so that you guys can see him full screen. But he's a pest. This is the newest member of my family, but he is definitely a pest. He's a good cat, though. He's just very small. I love how small he is. He's just a little teeny cat. He's 3 months and already into everything. Yeah, you're into everything, aren't you? You are totally into everything. And he licks faces. This is apparently my lot in life. You're a good cat. But anyway, he's a pest and he gets into everything. And he's super distracting. Anyway, yeah, go be super distracting somewhere else, okay? Go do something else super distracting. There we go. All right, back to the show. Okay, we've had a visit from a cat. Oh, he licked my nose. Right? Quirks are great for characters. And I love certain characters that have really interesting quirks. Yeah, he's an adorable kitty. We're really excited. We have 2 cats in this family now, but the other cat, she's got PTSD or something. She was badly mistreated before we got her. She's a rescue kitty. And because of that, the 10-year-old can't get near her. She is absolutely terrified of him. And so she won't let him anywhere near him. So it's been kind of rough. We've had her for 7 years now. And she's just not adapting to the child in the house. And so he's never had a kitty of his own. And so now this one, his name's George. George's whole job in life is to be the 10-year-old's companion, and he is more than happy to fulfill that goal. So he also is gregarious and outgoing and like the best cat ever. And so, he's except that, of course, he's 3 months old. So there's that. So as a 3-month-old, he's into everything, and he has to keep getting himself locked up at night because he will attack everything in the house all night long. So there's that. Back to Addie. Addie, as a character, has we've already gone ahead and explored what happened to her in the interim time. She has not had an easy time. The rest of the players all had a better time than she did. So moving to her, the thing that's really interesting that's happening is that I feel like her eyes are still too far apart. I don't know what's going on with her eyes. But I'm going to move them in just a hair. No. I didn't want to resize them. I want to move them to right there. Maybe. There we go. It's hard because her eyes are not matched. Right? Well, George doesn't go outside. So that's a flat thing. And that's the thing about black cats. And I have owned a number of black cats in my life for the reason that you are talking about specifically. Yeah, her original. We actually worked on her original portrait a few weeks back, 3 or 4 weeks back. Let's see if I can find her original portrait for you. Because we've done the original. We've done work with her before. We just did work with her Pathfinder character. So let's see here. Let's see if I can't bring that up for you. Because we've worked on her before. We have to download it. That's not a surprise. Because we've this is her original portrait, original character portrait from back in the day when she was a Pathfinder character, and she was a pistolero in Pathfinder. So I've kept the beads, and I've kept her little bandana she was wearing. But she also looks like she's much. I keep remembering she's a flashier character, or was a flashier character, and I don't think she's that flashy anymore. But I've been kind of pondering the idea of maybe some kind of scrolling on her outfit. Which, could because I feel like she was definitely flashy before. Right? So I think like her armor would have some scrolling to it. Maybe. That looks like a whale. Let's not do that. There we go. That adds a lot of depth right there, just putting that in. She does have a necklace, and we have to specify her necklace because she has a specific necklace that is part of her character. She has to wear. I'm glad you reminded me of this. Because it's going to have to be a choker on her now in order for it to still be visible. I swear I'm going to have to kill my kitten. Yeah, don't make me kill you, kitten. You don't want to die. You really don't want to die. I also don't want you going outside. There we go. Make this hard for you to do. Sorry, guys. This is the most distracting thing. I like the design, too. Thank you very much. I think that some scroll work helps a lot on this. I swear. Cat, stop. He's going after every dangling thing. You need to stop being fast. This is number 2 on the bringing the cat in front of the camera thing. Go run around. Go play with the boy. Okay. So she has a necklace. It was given to her by her father when she was young. And I think, actually, even though I've got this as like a thin choker, this is an important, integral part of her character. So I feel like, one, I don't want to risk. She wouldn't want to risk losing that. Wow, that simplified stupidly, didn't it? That's all right. We'll fix it. because it should be more like a circle anyway. I find it silly that it's doing that. All right. So all I'm doing here is just making this round because it's a half moon. That's her necklace. Her father gave it to her. One of the things I love about role-playing is the depths that we can make our characters. Leave it alone. Go somewhere else. Yeah, the kid is busy, and that's exactly why he's bugging me. And I'm not worried at all. The kitty is lovely, and I love the kitty a lot. And I've got absolutely no issue. And he is like the fifth or sixth kitten that I've had in my lifetime. So I'm actually pretty used to him, to kitties. I'm going to just do that real quick. And we'll fix these guys as well. They might as well be exactly round instead of weird and strange shaped. There we go. Now what I want to do is talk about this, because this line here that I built for these guys really should be like sturdy. She's not going to take a risk on this. There we go. So she has that now. I'm glad you reminded me of that, Donald. Thank you. Like I said, haven't played her in a few years, so having to remember all of the tricks of this character and what she has and does not have. Especially since we've modified her into the world of Starfinder. I swear the kitten is going to be the death of me. I don't need your help. Thank you, but I don't need your help. Thank you. He's determined. Might have. You know, keep this up, and I'm going to end up locking you downstairs. I think you want to be downstairs. They could have a secret meaning, and indeed, this could be secret, some kind of, you're right, elf moon, or some kind of bloodline, which actually could be fascinating. The wonderful thing about being the GM of this is I get to establish what was going on with her prior to this game. And just kind of lock that in as the history. And so I'm just going to simplify this. There's no reason for this to be this complicated, right? Because then it could be like more like this, and that's what I really want. Is a little bit more like that. Anything could happen with her. There we go. Much better. Going back over her Pathfinder sheet, there were all these things that I had totally forgotten about her that now I'm remembering. I mean, she had profession courtesan, and it's because I have this. When I build characters now, I use random character generators to make their histories and stuff like that, because I've played so many characters. If I don't,
I end up with pretty much the same character every time. So it's much more fun for me now to randomly generate the character and then sort of do like the golf thing, play the ball where it lies, you know. So before I had rolled up her character, that's true. Before I had rolled up the character, I did this random history on her. And one of the things that happened was she got involved with, while trying to be an operative, she got involved with the clergy in some way or another and ended up having to pay penitence for it. So she had to become an indentured servant, which worked perfectly because we had another character played by my wife who was high-class noble. And so it sort of worked that her job was to be the protector, the defender, the gunslinger that protected my wife. And that worked really well as far as the character went. But I had forgotten that she had 4 ranks in courtesan until I looked at her Pathfinder character sheet. And I was like, oh, that's right. We never used that in the game. But there's a little bit of history that Troy and I are making right now that works very well for us. Yeah, I like to get a character concept before rolling as well. And since I've been doing this way, it works a whole lot better for me to come up with a character or the random character design. I swear you are determined. I am paying attention to you. Work. You're getting paid attention to. Little cat. Okay, so this scroll work I like. I think I want to put this in the rest of her armor. So I'm going to move this scroll work in through here as well. There we go. It was actually very funny. I just today started actually working on the Pathfinder sheet, and my wife started laughing, and she's like, "You've already got the character portrait, don't you?" And I'm like, "No, maybe." And I'm like, priorities. I have to get the character portrait before you can actually do the rest of this. I mean, priorities, man. You still there? You can see me? Can you see me? Because we just crashed. Okay. Rings. You were saying rings. Does she have rings on her finger? You're sitting in my pin box, attacking another box. Rings on her fingers. You know, she would, wouldn't she? No, I don't think she would because she's a pistolero. Well, no, maybe she would have like small rings. I think she'd have a small ring. No, that's a marriage ring. Let's not do that. There we go. And we'll put this line back in here. And I'll just match the scroll work on her armor. All right. Let me put that scroll work there. Let's do the same thing right here. Oops, went the wrong way. There we go. We'll put in the scroll work and I'll line up all of her armor. Nope, 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 nope. I'm still going the same direction. I swear, I want to go the same way. I'm going the same direction. I'm determined to go the same direction. It's very funny. You should get back into role playing. I think that's a good idea. Right. I don't know if she has any special abilities rings necessarily. And it's only because she's not. The world that we were coming from in Pathfinder, she had. She was coming from this world which was. They didn't have magic. So there was like a specific magic dampening field around the city that had I love her boots. They're like super armored boots, but they also keep her very, very quiet, which is the whole idea. There we go. That's much better. So that was part of the mystery of what was going on that the original GM was trying to play out. And so when we originally were playing this, there were all of these interesting things, but she didn't belong to a world that had magic in her way. You know, for her, magic was very strange and different. And so I can't imagine her as a character, even though Starfighter has magic. Can't imagine her as a character wanting very many magic items. That's not true of the other noble, who she embraced magic and thought it was wonderful. And so that worked very well. My wife's character, her, as a noble, she was also very science oriented. She's a scientist, so she was completely nutsoid as soon as she got into the modern world and realized that there was magic and realized that there was all this stuff. And she was like, "Oh man, that's incredible," and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and just put that scroll work right here. So her character, logically, was all about it. This line is too low. I can tell. I'm going to have to move this line down to here, because it doesn't match up the rest of this. RPGs are the best. And yeah, she's got great boots. I love her boots. RPGs are the best. So there we go. Some good scroll work to show that her armor is modified quite a bit. Doesn't it feel like her face is a little big? I feel like her face is big. Which is okay. It's actually pretty easy to just... And she's got earrings. I'll actually go ahead and do that. And just... I don't care. It's all good. I can fix it. We're not going down that much. But I feel like for the rest of her body, proportionate-wise, her face is a little too big. Much better. Yep, that's it. Not always, you don't always have the perfect line work, I guess. It's okay. We will simplify this vector line here. And we will zoom in and simplify that vector line and simplify that vector line. And that'll make this a lot easier. So we'll just do that, do that, do that. And then we just got a really nice curve here, which we should have done in the first place. Okay. And this guy needs to just be connected up. Gotta say, vector operating is great. I actually kind of feel like this guy should be like over here even. There's one too many lines here, guys. We'll just get rid of you. And you. And you. Just grab this point, bring her up like this, and bring that in a little bit like that. There we go, much, much better. So, we'll have to fix her bandana too, but that's the right size. It's hard because her angle is down. She's looking down from this angle. So that's a little difficult to make sure you've got it straight and everything like that. It's harder, but it's not impossible. She's also really thin. She was a street rat in the game and before, and now she's had a real rough time since then. So she's really thin. That doesn't help any because it makes her... it makes her much more complicated to fix and get the body right on and stuff. So Give it a little bit of that. And move this in, move this in. So that bandana shouldn't be actually detached from her head. There we go. All right. Scroll work on the armor is in. I like the way that all looks. I mean, I figure she's wearing layers of armor, but the truth is that I feel like this part right up here, her head, she can just put a helmet on and it latches to that neck piece right there and then just seals it. And she puts gloves on and she's in a spacesuit. So we're good. But she's got twin pistols and probably a sniper rifle from her newer existence. Now as later on as to what she was doing. So it's kind of a thing. Okay. I'm feeling very good about this line work. I feel like the line work is solid. So we're going to go in ahead and we're going to start coloring in a moment. Okay, we're going to duplicate this layer. And the reason we duplicate the layer is so that we can keep the line work like it was, right? We're going to take this, we're going to rasterize this layer. Okay? Because you can't actually fill anything in Clip Studio while it's... So, let's go ahead and start talking about what colors she is. She's always been sort of oranges and yellows and things like that, but her hair, let's start with the things that we know. Her hair is a dark brown. So that makes that easy. That's hair too. That's hair, 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 hair. It's still getting fireflies on the edge here. So let's close the gap. I think it's the color margin. Ooh, it didn't help us any. Okay, well, undo. I'm trying to hit the point where it stops doing the little fireflies. And that's closer. Ooh. So this only that only tells me how much of a hole is considered. Oh yeah, a backpack on the ground with a helmet would be great. I think that's a good idea. I've been wanting to set up this rig anyway. This area scaling. Oh no. There is a way to set up this particular tool. There we go. Color margin, close gap. We see that. Right. And so anti-aliasing. Let's talk about this. Yeah, but I need more anti-aliasing. Huh. Okay. Interesting. I don't think that helped any, but that's all right. So we'll go on ahead and just... This is taking too much time, so I'm just going to go on ahead and do this. Okay. Then we have, well, she has a bedroll or a pack of some sort. I didn't know whether that was a tank or a bedroll. I didn't know what that was whenever I did it. I just did it. You know, it's like everything. I just do these things. I'm going to real quickly open something that I found on the internet, the interwebs, the other day, which I really think is cool. The Flesh Grid. That's what this is called, is the Flesh Grid. So this is a number of different skin tones. And I love these flesh grids because they're extraordinarily useful for this, right? So we can pick colors out of here and then just fill it in, right? She never had a color picture before, so we don't exactly know what color her skin is. We're just guessing. But I feel like she would have maybe more yellowish skin, like here, right? Yeah, it looks a lot better. There we go. And all we're doing here is what we call flatting. This is the flat colors for her. Now, I like the undersuit being a very dark color. And her armor being a very light color. Yellowish or orangish. Now, there we go. Maybe gold. I think she might be wearing gold. Something is telling me that this character is just wearing gold. It's almost like it's Solarian armor. There we go, much better. We've got little, like, I don't know, runaways in here. Boy, the scroll work's making this difficult, isn't it? I did it to myself. I've got no one to blame but me. There we go. Go. Oh. Ooh. All right. Her backpack, which probably is a tank, or something. It doesn't really matter, but whatever it is, it should sort of fit in a little bit here. Now we're getting closer. The flatting is getting much better. I really think that she needed to be in gold. Just really can't help it but think she needed to be in gold, because gold works. That's interesting. Why aren't you capturing that? There we go. That's what we're after. That way it looks like it's just two-toned. Couple of little errors in here. Whoa. I think the computer is having some slowdown issues. Oop. There we go. A Mandalorian fledged Jawa. You're right. This is the way. Oh, man. Okay, see, this is why we can't be left alone. This is just why we can't be left alone. Okay, so this is the skin we chose, so I'm going to use this for her scar, right? Because then it's like opened flesh. At some point in time, it's healed over. Okay. Now let's talk about her bandana. Her bandana is multicolored. Right. And that's what it was in the original drawing 100 zillion years ago. Back in the day. And then she has these nomadic or not earrings, but beads on her. That were on her original hair piece right there. Okay, we're just making this a weapon. It is designed for killing things and being there. Perfect. Yep, and instead of trying to hide that scar, she's just going to wear it. And it's going to be one of those, yeah, deal with it. Okay, let's talk about this eye. Because that eye is going to be something, not this. So, kind of like the idea that it is cybernetic in some way and very red. Like it has a point in the center. giving her quite the impression when she shows up, because there's a laser coming out of her eye or something. It's certainly not, it's not a friendly thing. I'm going ahead and, whoa, not that's too much. That's too little. Hi, thank you. There we go. I'm just going ahead here. Work on this. I want to make this rounder, obviously. There. It makes you feel like maybe I don't want to mess with her. Maybe I don't want to mess with her at all. And she had one brown eye, which was very dark brown, but it was still brown. So let's go ahead and give her just a little bit of highlight in here so that you can see that her eye was brown once. And it's one of those brown-eyed people with this darker brown eyes it's difficult to actually see the color in their eyes unless you're really close. So for the most part, her eye is just black, even from this distance. So, and actually, I'm going to go in here and do the fill in on this, like this. And the reason we're going to do that is because later I'm going to come in here with the white highlights and highlight in here into the zone. So we want to make sure that I can put the highlights all the way across. The other thing we should do is do the sclera of the eyes. Eye sclera is not actually white. We just think it is. But it's actually sort of a grayish. More important right here, because we don't want to fill out her whole face in gray. So we'll do that. And then it's still going to do that because there wasn't just enough there. No. Still not making it. Where's the leak? That's all right. I'll just fill it all in. It's very small. Right? Eye sclera is not ever white, just like teeth aren't white. The original picture, looking at the original here, and I'm trying to figure out whether those eyebrows are what I want to mess with. I think she's just going to have eyebrows that are roughly the same color as her hair. Maybe slightly lighter. We're going to go through here and fix this. Because her eyebrows are not all the way across. That works. Now, we're getting there. She already looks pretty badass. I think she needs to have this as her boots. Zoom in so I can complete that line right here. And then tag that. There we go. Okay. Now that we've done that, we'll go on ahead and do the other gun. All we're doing is just tagging in the alternate colors. Make it stand out. There's some darker color, lighter color combinations. These pistols are pretty brutal. All right. I feel like her earrings and her necklace should match, but they also should be a type of gold, maybe rose gold sort of thing. There we go. Now the trick to getting all of this stuff to work is, and especially these gaps and leaks underneath things, is that we're going to take this entire unit of this entire shell, and we're going to duplicate it. And then on this one, we're just going to select all the way around it on the outside, like this. We'll have to hit Shift to capture this guy right here. And right here, Borg. Right. Control-Shift-I inverts. Delete. And we hit Fill. And what that does is that just gives us a silhouette underneath here of the actual character. And that fixes all of these almost, but not quite. Whoa, deselect. Fine. So we missed a spot through there. We can just come through here and do this, and then go like this, and delete. Okay. And this just plugged in some of these holes that showed up when you had gaps here. You can see the gaps in between things like that. And it just clears that up. All of these ghostly lines around things, they all just go away. That's how you do that in a quick and easy fashion. It also allows for any kind of, if I wanted to put an outer stroke on everything, I could do that too. Going back here, we're going to add a new raster layer. We're also going to use this as our template for anything where we want to clear it up. So we're going to do highlights at this point in time. So this is going to be just an overlay layer. Or I think it's a screen. I can't remember. I never remember whether it's a screen or overlay. Let's see. I guess it's screen. I'll raise the brush size quite a bit. We're going to come through here and just do stuff like this, right? And we'll zoom in and, okay, it must be overlay then. I always get these things wrong. We bring that down till we're about at 71. Hi, Brent. Good to see you, my friend. There we go. We can kind of come through here and just hit some of the highlights on her face. Right? We're going to kind of go through like this. We're going to come around like this. We're also going to hit like the highlights on her hair. Like that. A little bit of a hair light behind her. So we're going to have just a little bit of this. And this guy gets highlighted right through here so that you can see who it is. Right? And then her ear gets highlight, and then her damaged ear gets a highlight, right? We come up here, and we're going to get the temple and come through. And I'm going to come back through and erase some of this, right? Depending on where that highlight is. Okay? We're going to also hit her bandanas here. They get highlights. We are not touching the armor, and I'll get to that in a second. Then we're going to come through here. This works really well on her guns. And only the plastic pieces of her guns. That's what we're doing here. We're going to come around the bottom like this. We're actually going to have a shadow from this gun, so I'm not going to do too much there. All the metal pieces are going to be highlighted with the white absolute, so come through here and just clean some of this up. Oops, that's the actual side we want. This is not the side we do. This is the side we don't want. There we go, like that. Just like that, just like that. There we go. And then the same thing over here. Kind of just, this is in the light. The light comes around here, stuff like that. So I'm just going to do that. We'll do that. There we go. Just like that. Clean this up, clean this up, and clean this up. Now our armor is reflective. So it's going to be very, there we go, like that. Just clean this up. Since her armor is reflective, I'm going to want to put the highlights in. Actually, this. Make sure her waist is well lit. There. And despite the fact that this, whatever this widget is on her hip, it's not going to light up all of it. So, or block all of it, I guess I should say. There's that. And this thing's plastic, so he can have all kinds of stuff on him. Make him really interesting looking. There. I'm just putting the highlights in like this. Makes it look there we go. Don't worry about her boots. Her boots are armor. Okay. If you got armor of the gods, it could be like a chainmail, and you could call it a Gilgamesh. I'll be here all week. Try the pot roast. Okay, so the other thing we're going to do now is we're going to do a new raster layer, and this one's going to be multiply. I'll put this down to about 33 or such. And the truth is that I used to do black with this, but now I've actually kind of come to the conclusion that it's better to do a more red and like a maroon through here. It makes it look more warm. And this time I will hit the armor, and it's because the dark side of the armor is going to be like that. There we go. hit the dark side of her face, under her nose, bottom there, and into this part of her eye. I'll have to go in there and hit that eyelid. I'll do the trimming of this like that, because I actually like that. Why is it not anti-aliased? Oh, because he's not anti-aliased. There we go. And I'm just going to follow the contours of her face here. Right? She's not wearing any makeup because, really, frankly, she's an assassin. Assassins don't wear makeup. Okay, maybe they do, but it's still funny to think that she finds that to be an atrocious thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just operate on the idea that she thinks that assassins don't wear makeup. Okay. There we go. And we'll put in the color around her nose so that her nose actually, since she's turning up her nose at us, maybe not intentionally, but certainly we're going to be seeing the underside here a lot more. And into the philtrum. This is called the philtrum. This section right here. Dang it. There we go. So I kind of like that, and then I like the idea she's got just a little bit going this way, and then there we go, more like that. All right. Now, the other thing we want to do is we have some highlight over here on this ear. Give enough view that we can see all of that highlight. Okay. There we go. Her and her little cheruby round face, I guess. She hasn't gotten rid of her round face, even though she's in her 30s now. Okay, so this is more like a cuirass. So it's going to be rounded, but out, pointed out for her chest. Oh, you did miss that part. Yeah, she once had a very high disguise skill. I think I should drop that disguise skill down, because you're right. She can't really disguise anything now. So, Brent, this is my new Starfinder character. So it once was my Pathfinder character, and this is her in Pathfinder mode. She was a pistolero, and then she's been brought through time. And now she is in Starfinder's universe with the other characters in the game. The game was the game started in 2014, and we've been playing it ever since. And originally, it was a Pathfinder game, and we were having a lot of fun with the Pathfinder game. Yada 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 yada. But then the GM burned out, and so I took it over. But I said, well, if I'm going to take it over, I want spaceships. So I made a little adventure where they went through a time portal and ended up way in the future. And since I was GMing, I had my character vanish in thin air. So she just disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to her. Mostly because I know as a GM, I've been GMing for many, many, many moons. And I know that if I have one of my characters in there, they go one of two ways. Either they become the Deus Ex Machina, and everything gets solved by my character, or I have them sit over in the corner the entire time staring at the wall. And I just can't. My method of storytelling when it comes to GMing, I have a difficulty with my own PCs being NPC'd. My NPCs are very deep, but you use them and then they go about their world and they go off and do something else. So you need them for this, adventure. They join you for the adventure. Then they go off and have kids and raise them and, have a little farm somewhere or something. So I don't usually NPC my own PCs. So I didn't want her to be oh, sure. I'm sure she can also wear a contact lens. She could probably also do the little magic makeup thing so she can cover her scar. Anyway, so Brent's like, I like staring at walls. I like swords. Welcome to Quinaria. I like swords. Welcome to Quinaria. Okay. So my thought was that I'm going to bring her into the modern game. And Troy and I are both Troy and my character. Troy couldn't continue doing the game at the time because in 2014, his kids were 4 and still just a little too young to leave at home with. He had 3 kids. He still has 3 kids, but not 2 4-year-olds. At the time, he had a 10-year-old and 2 4-year-olds, and that was just too difficult to leave with his wife alone. So he had to drop out of the game, which was kind of sad. But now he's got a teenager and 2 10-year-olds, and they're pretty independent and can operate by themselves. And we're working in COVID, so really we're not leaving home. We're just all sitting here and doing games on Roll20 and stuff like that. So when I started to rejoin the game, he was like, well, I'd like to rejoin too. And I said, oh, that's a great idea. And he said, I'll even GM. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So he's going to take over the game. And so I was like, well, but gosh, if you're going to take over the game, can I bring Addie back? And he was like, yeah, let's bring Addie back. So this is Addie in Starfinder. And so we're building her up now and putting her into Starfinder. And I'm getting her squared away and stuff like that. And so that's what we're doing. And of course, the most important thing for Addie to have is a portrait. I haven't even finished her character sheet. I just barely started her character sheet. But I'm almost done with her portrait. So there is that. Because priorities. And my priorities are get the portrait done first. How do you know what your character looks like if you don't have a portrait, right? So we're going to finish this here. We're going to put this in. So that's the story. I'm sticking to it. So in Starfinder, she's an operative. She's a daredevil operative. So the subclass is daredevil. And that's who she is here in Starfinder. And the story that we have made up, which is, I think, kind of cool, is that she... Oh, I gotta go under here and fix that. Right. Well, you know. Thanks, Donald. I'm gonna figure out what color. Yeah, kind of a limeish greenish thing. There we go. Get that. So you can see that. And yes, of course, I mean, obviously part of the reason why I like, that's not going to be the same color, is it? We need to bring that up to 100%. So I can snag that color. There we go. And I'll actually, here's another trick. I'll put my dark color right here on this layer. That way I can bring the multiply layer back down to 33%. And if I happen to trigger out, I can bring it back, right? Because we need to still do all of the shading on this. There we go. It is kind of unfair that I'm the one that I'm the one that draws all of the artwork. However, I am open for commissions, and anybody who wants character portraits, I am more than willing to do. I even do starships, which is what we're going to be doing the rest of the week once this is done. So, okay. There we go. We're just going in here, and I'm just putting in the dark on this. There we go, just like that. And that's pretty much what we're going to do here. And I'm okay with going over. That's not going to cause much of a problem because I'm about to trim the whole thing. Character portraits, the simpler ones are 40. So, like, if you wanted to do just with this 3-layer of color and stuff like that, it's 40. More complicated, any backgrounds or anything like that, and it goes up from there. But that's what I charge is 40 for that. Basic standees. Like you've seen the standees that I did for Star Trek Adventures, and that's pretty much where we are with this. Oh, that's highlights. That's why. Okay. I'm like, what's going on here? And that's this. So we got to go back in and kind of clean up the highlights side, I think. Highlights look a little messy over here. And that's part of the reason I'm having problems, because this should be like this. There. So I also look up there. Got a couple of things where I want to really kind of best part about my character portraits is I tend to do them online, unless you ask me not to, of course. But I would do them right here on the show, and if you can sit there and say, oh, no, he's got purple armor or whatever. And so I can actually live on here. It's one of the reasons why Fred hangs out here from time to time, is I'm doing that book for him, and he gets to come in and say, I'd like you to change that, or I'd like you to change this, or whatever. And that works. Okay. I put some white over here for reasons that are still beyond me. So I think I was trying to highlight the hair, and I don't think that worked as well as I thought it would. Okay. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take and we're going to do this. Shift U and U. Then we can go into each one of these layers and go bork like that. And go to this one and go bork. And everything disappears off of this, and that's useful. So then we hit deselect. Now all of that overflow is gone, and I don't need to worry about it. One more thing we're going to do is a new raster layer, and this is just direct white, right? And what we do with direct white here is all the highlights like this on the gun. Right? We'll give just a little bit on her nose too, and right here on her lip. Then we'll go in and we'll go like this. Right? This is the other reason why we do sclera. We make sure that the sclera isn't white, because if it was white, you wouldn't see that at all. The same thing over here. There we go. And that gives her some life to that. And now let's talk about her armor. And now we're just highlighting everything. Her armor is shiny and scary. And this is one of those listed under, how does she use her stealth roll if she's this shiny? The answer is, she's just that good. Right? The reality is she probably has some kind of stealth tech field on this that she can delineate it. And this is the way you see her whenever she wants to be seen. If she doesn't want to be seen, you won't see her. I'm very much relying on the width of this brush. There we go. I'm just kind of going through here and I'm highlighting everything. All of these are divots in the armor pieces. I figure this is more like a plastic armor and less like actual metal, because it's futuristic. Because spaceships. Right? So, what we call the Zoe claws. Zoe Claus being, that sounds like science fiction. You live in a spaceship, dear. Not overlay. We want the other one, screen. No, that didn't help us any either. Because the truth is, I gotta get that little bit there. And she doesn't have a line on the outside of her character. Like this, so trying to find one that doesn't actually do that. Okay. And now we have a character. Yeah, plastic composites, something. She's got something going on for her here. Should probably put shine on this guy here. Just a little bit. There. Just so you can see that it's there. This guy's probably got a little bit of shine on him too. That one actually didn't come out like I wanted. It just looks noisy. It's okay, that's fine. I don't need it. It's all good. And then we will increase that a little. Like that. Zoom in for this. Whoa, undo. No piece, no people. Don't double click the pen. It makes people. Come through here. Like that. We'll trim that. There. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of weird phone calls these days too. I don't know. Okay, space, move this up. Let's check her face. Do I think we can use like very thin lined right along here just to find that? And I think we could. I feel like that works. Right up here. The other thing I think I want to do is go down onto the overlay here and just clean that up right there. Her scar doesn't get any highlights. So we'll go in closer and we'll make the brush smaller. Needs to be hard and a little smaller like that. There we go. Get in here and I can do that. Right. So there we go. I'm going to come along here and just make sure that fits the nose line. There we go. Like that. Okay. Just some last minute checks. Oh, her beads. Yep, that's totally right. I will happily do that for you. Undo. Little beads right here need some highlights. And so do her earrings. You should be able to see her earrings. Right? And her necklace. And this line right here. It is indeed $40 a piece, and I will be doing it online here so you can tell me if I'm doing it wrong. You can give me direction and instruction on it, and it will be fine. Actually feel like there should be like that, right? I mean, like, kind of feel like it should. It takes about one show to do the standee. As you can see, I've taken 2 shows with her, but this is my character, and I can I can waste time if I want to. I don't waste time with your characters. There we go. We're almost out of time, speaking of time. We're almost out of time here. So, just cleaning this up. I feel like I actually kind of want to do like this. Almost to give the feeling that this is raised on her armor. Right? Makes it look like that's raised. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. I have a couple of tasks that are coming through at this time that are kind of that way. So let's zoom out and let's take a look at her in general. There we go. She looks good. I'll put a background of some sort on her, and then I'm going to be able to load her in as I make the character sheet. The good news is that making the character sheet, they allow me to put portraits on there. So it's a darn good thing I made a portrait. Yes, that's the commissions. That's the commissions. Yes, so Donald, I do commissions, $40 per standee for a character. It pretty much looks exactly like this guy, or this gal, I guess. And I will do them on the show. And so you can give me guidance and say, no, not brown hair, blue hair, or whatever you want. And I will do that within reason. I mean, sometimes Fred goes overboard with no, they must be 4 people with, okay, but whatever, Fred. So, but yes, $40 is the price for RPG standee. Comes with one of these guys, and then I shrink them also down so that you can print them off as a 25 millimeter standee, which you just trifold it and then tape it, and then he can sit on the table, so you can use the same thing. So, and that's the way that usually goes. If you want, also, I can make a bust portrait for them as well by just trimming that out. I know not everybody has all of the wonderful art tools that I have, so sometimes it's easier for people if they just, get a little square which has their character's face and then the full standee. The standee itself trifolds as well, so you have the standee stands about the size of my coffee cup. So when they're done, and then you can put that next to your character sheet at the table. Right? We like Fred. We loves Fred. We like Fred a lot. That's totally fine. Just give me a holler. I will be here. But maybe I should be more... maybe I should make a commercial for that. That'd be fun. So, anyway, there you go, guys. So we've got... this standee will be done for the Starfinder game now. I think she's pretty close to done. I feel like she's really close to done. I want to do some small details on her. She's my character, and I can dink with her forever if I need to. And just make her life miserable. So I can waste a lot of time. I probably should give up at some point. But she looks pretty good, and she looks pretty solid, and I like her in gold and black. That seems like her color. No. The standee is a piece of paper. You print it out on thick cardboard. Like I usually recommend, like this sort of 100-pound paper. It's not a piece of paper. It's got some
F to it, and you print it out, and then you cut out the standee, which is about yay big, and then you fold the backs together, and then you tape it, and it usually has your character's name on the bottom, and then the standee, and then you can put that on the table. I always cross-play when I play RPGs. All of my characters are female, and so it's complicated for people to remember all the time because they look at me and they say, he can go into that room. Well, really, I'm usually playing a she, and so traditional RPG rules, etiquette is that you say she can go into that room and yada, yada, yada. But that's hard for people to remember because I'm obviously a male, and that's difficult. And so I like to use the standees because then you have a visual cue that the character is indeed a female. And so that helps a whole lot so that you don't misgender them, which doesn't bother me generally. I usually just feel really glad when people remember that my character is female. Usually I'm just like excited. Oh, you remembered. Yay! But I do have one player in my current game who is female playing a male character, and she does get pretty mad whenever you misgender her. For me, it's okay. It doesn't bother me at all, although I'm usually very pleased when people remember. But for her, she gets pretty mad. So in light of that, I tend to say, hey, this is a good thing for you to put out there. You put that up there and you're good. So, cool. That's my commercial. If you want your characters done, I'm willing to do character portraits. I'm all about that character portrait thing. So, there you go. Well, okay, guys, that's the end of my show for today. I'm probably going to wrap up this character tonight and have her ready to go so that she's already out there in the fight for this weekend. I don't have to mess with her. So tomorrow I'm going to work on some other things. And yeah, if you guys want character portraits, $40 a piece for this. I mean, it's, you don't get too carried away. Lots of dogs. She has 700 dogs. I hate dogs. Yes, I actually had one GM have me make portraits of the entire party, all 8 of them. And that was great. I mean, great income for me, and he had the money to do it. But I hope you can catch the show, Brent. It's cool. If you can't, though. Yeah, and that's the other thing, Donald, as a side note before I go. Make sure you give me, he's got a sword of Snurgleblatt, which has 16 jewels on the hilt. Yeah, all those things are important details because that is something that your characters would see. So, I just try not to have the 27 dogs. That always terrifies me. Okay, guys, it was great having you here today. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I hope you can be with us too, Brent. So, goodbye.